Welcome back. We got a brand new video that we're going to be going over today. So without any further ado, let's get to it.
Talk about why black men don't like dating black women. Now, I've done videos on this before, and I've come to my own personal view about it as a black woman that I believe that is because a lot, and I'm leaning towards most, but a lot of black women have bad attitudes. And I have experienced that even as a black woman, dealing with black women having bad attitudes. And this is coming from me as being a trainer, a coach. And sometimes I just feel like I can't tell you anything. Like, you already know it all. So I already know that there is some sort of conflict, but that's not all black women, but it is a lot.
One of the things that she might be dealing with that she might have not thought she's dealing with is, remember that there are basically three types of personalities. And, there's a lot of variation to them. But when you're dealing with somebody that, like she said, that's a know-it-all, a person that generally has built their own businesses, that is more of a go-getter in life, they come with a different attitude than a person that really doesn't want that in their life. There are people out here that are just sweet, loving, kind. But as a dating coach, see, who do you think is going to come in the door more? People that come in the door are the people that have the problems or that are struggling. So the people that are struggling are the ones who she's going to see the most. So no wonder most of them have an attitude, because they have an attitude when they're out there dating. Right? Doesn't this make sense? It makes sense, right? When you're having a problem, you go to find people to fix the problem. For some of you watching, just you watching this channel and maybe another channel, I don't know what you're doing out there, but you will see, oh, I'm only making that one mistake. I can fix that. And then boom, boom, boom. Next thing you know, you're married. I'm always telling people at CSC that most people are one problem, one teeny tiny problem, maybe two, away from finding their person. So they don't need a lot of help. But she's a dating coach where you come directly to her. So who do you think she's going to get coming to her door? These are not people that's like one or two little tiny things. These are people that got big problems. Because if they're coming and they're probably paying big money, they know they got big problems. But see, a lot of those people, their biggest problem is that they're not humble. They don't have a humble heart. And that's why when she's trying to tell them stuff, they're not listening.
And it's also assumed that, black women are going to be overweight, because what is like almost 80 plus% of black women are overweight. And so they're like, well, I don't want to date somebody overweight with a bad attitude. And some men just don't find black women attractive.
Again, competition. We learned in another video by one of the experts that there are 84 men for every 100 women. Now, for me, I don't see that as a problem, because as a woman, you should be spending time, and as a man, everything I say for women is still for men as well. It's just, it might be slight variation. But as a woman, you don't want to be in the bottom. You should be doing everything you can to be in the top 30 to 40%. And for most women, black women, it's not hard to get in the top 30%. I mean, most of y'all could be in the top 30%, and some of y'all could be in there in a week. All you really need to do is just go to the mall and buy you some clothes. I'm just being real. Some of you guys is just, you're not styling yourself. You're not taking care of yourself. There's a point where, yes, you have to have a big heart, but then there's another point where you have to realize your heart needs to be so big that you recognize that your person likes to look at you.
Resentment, the anger towards black women is what I'm trying to figure out. Yeah, you can have your preference. That's fine. We all have our preference of who we would like to date. But just to be like, when you see a black woman, you just get angry. Like, some people say some men say they come to my videos and they don't care what I'm talking about. They just have to say something because I'm a black woman and I just need to shut up. And everybody else just needs to get their passport and move on, because they don't even want to listen to a black woman. You hate black women so bad. And I'm like, woo.
It's so funny because I actually get those comments, and I'm not a black woman. That's just how people are. Okay. Not everybody is going to agree with you. And many people that don't agree with you, they want you to know that they don't agree with you. I mean, I'm gonna be real. I read every single comment. I do. It might take me 2 weeks to get to them or whatever, but I do read them. And unless it's rated R comment, I'm gonna let it sit up there and I'll let other people read them. And I've had a lot of people on my channel come to my, rescue, so to speak, because I'm really not gonna fight somebody in the comments. I'm sorry, I'm not gonna fight you in the comments. That is your place to give your opinion. And I'm thankful for those that will, fight the good fight in the comments. Thank you. I really appreciate it. I do see those things. But I'm not going to fight somebody in the comments. I mean, she can't be worried about that because that's just the nature of things. And she's thinking it's because she's a black woman. No, it's not because you're a black woman. It's because you're on YouTube or Instagram or TikTok. No matter where you go, there's always going to be somebody that says, I don't like that. And it's generally because their lifestyle and what they want in their life is going down this path. And what you're doing is you're either encouraging other people to leave that path, or you're trying to tell them that the pain that they feel inside that they need to modify. And not everybody has the wherewithal to modify the pain.
I didn't know it was that bad. Now, I know you may have some bad experiences, but just to hate an entire group of people when your mom is black and your sisters are black, your auntie black, your favorite auntie black, and you just hate all black women, and then even men are raising black daughters. And some don't even see black women as attractive. Oh, she got too much weed, too much makeup. You've told me a million times you don't like me wearing makeup. This is me. I like to do what I do. And at home and on the beach and when I'm hanging out, yeah, I'm not wearing makeup, but this going out to thousands of people. I want to look my best.
Again, it's all about the guys you're running into. Every guy is different. Like for me, I'm sorry, and I don't like to give my opinion too much because I really don't like swaying people. But I don't date women who don't wear makeup. I'm just being real. I won't date you. If you're a woman who's like, well, I don't really wear makeup and that's not my thing, then you're not for me. I'm sorry, you're not for me. Because when I go out, I want you to have makeup on. Now, I'm not saying it has to be a lot, but I think it adds a little bit extra, kind of like she's saying, she wants to look her best. And I do think that there is something to it. There's a reason why newscasters wear it. And then my background is film and media. So I'm very used to women wearing makeup. So to me, when I run into a woman who is not wearing makeup, that's a little weird to me. It's actually backwards. However, I'm not against men who basically say, I don't want my woman to wear makeup. But what I say is, if you're a woman who likes to wear makeup and then a man comes up to you and he's basically like, I like you, but you need to stop wearing makeup. Then you need to be saying, then dude, you are not for me. Because I like to wear makeup and I'm looking for the guy who likes me as I am. And evidently I was cute enough for you to come over here and talk to me. And you might have not done that if I wasn't wearing makeup.
But anyhow, I want to know why you hate black women. And to me, it depends on the circle too. Because if you're hanging around, you're in a circle of ratchet ghetto women and running up, government assistance and getting a bunch of babies and, making poor decisions and, expecting a 6-figure man when they don't even have sleeping on air mattress. Yeah, if that's the type of woman that you used to, because some men say, why do women only like to talk to Pookies and Ray Rays? Because that's the type of woman that you're attracted to. Because all black women aren't the same. Because I've never been attracted to a Pookie or Ray Ray, a thug or any of that. So I really want to know, why do black men hate? And I understand you've had a bad experience, but to just be just angry about it.
She keeps saying her own answer. And I don't know if she even recognizes she's saying her own answer. Let's take this back. If you're angry about something, what does that mean? What is behind the anger? What's behind the anger is pain. That's what's behind the anger. It's pain. And so somewhere along the line, these men that she's run into have had so much pain that now they're angry. Okay? Maybe they weren't accepted by black women. Maybe those black women didn't think that they were attractive. I find a lot of men who carry a lot of pain. It's because they weren't considered attractive in their own skin and they never kind of got over it. Because I do think it's a little bit different for men because there's not a lot of people that kind of teach men how to navigate the whole attraction thing.
So on the internet is where I've seen this anger. I don't know about you, because in my real life, I'm surrounded by professionals, from attorneys and doctors, directors and executives, just regular everyday people that, you know, even with my last.
Okay, I just want to say real quick, that's not necessarily regular everyday people.
Last boyfriend, he was in construction, but he also had he did handyman. He had hustle on the side. I'm from Centerville, Illinois. I like a man with a little hustle on the side. I don't want to wait till the 15th or 30th you get paid for us to do something. And given that you're not living paycheck to paycheck, but if you are, which most Americans are, that you could still find a hustle. And he was still paint. He was rehabbing properties, but he'd also do some painting, do some landscaping. He had a truck. My grandfather always said, man got a truck, he got some money. So I like a man with a little hustle on the side, and that's Centerville, Illinois. These men, they may be truck drivers, they may work for transit, may move logistics, they may work at the post office, but they still have a little hustle on the side, and I like that, a legitimate hustle on the side. But in my real world, I don't see men hating women. I see men loving women. I see men want to, you know, be booed up with a woman, look for the holidays, you know, want to do special things for their women. You know, I see men loving women. And so that's why I'm like, I'm excited to, you know, go through this healing process. I'm in a personal development journey right now. I'd love to hear you guys' advice when it's constructive. And, you know, opening my heart to receive love and be ready for love, but I hadn't been prepared for this level of hatred to black women, and I just really want to understand it.
It's really just, it's not so much about black women per se. It is just about, that is just how some people are. You know, some people, like I say, if you say anything that they do not believe in, they are going to attack. That's just how it is, you know, and you really can't get mad at it, you know, to a degree, because if you look at it from a passion and a pain perspective, you can learn from it. But even if you're always looking at it like, why are you attacking me? Why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? Then you're not really looking at these people and then recognizing what they're going through. And maybe they don't know how to discuss it and talk about it in the comments, but there's still something there that sometimes needs to be addressed.
Because I understand you may have, like I said, have some bad experience, but to just hate an entire group of women, because black women actually value black men. And then I have to dig in.
Again, I would just love to talk to some of these women directly. Not all black women value black men. They might value the concept. See, it's different when you value the concept of something versus when you value the thing in front of you. There wouldn't be as much pain if women actually valued the literal set of black men that they have in front of them. And again, I'm not talking about all women here, but I'm talking about, again, there are sets of black women that are saying, well, I can't find anybody and I'm struggling and I'm doing this and I'm doing that. But then they'll have black men around them that they ignore. I've seen it with my own eyes. I've watched it. I've literally been over the shoulder of a black woman while she's going through Bumble or whatever dating app. And I'm like, why did you pass over him? Well, he was this and this and this. Why did you pass over the next guy? Well, he's this and this and this. And I'm like, all those guys fit you. Don't you see that that's you?
To that too, because now I'm starting to wonder if we really do value black men. Because I say value because a lot of black women don't date outside their race because they want a black man, but then find most black men unattractive. So basically based on some dating apps, they have shown that most black women, or women in general, find most men unattractive. Almost 85% of men on these dating apps, women find them unattractive. So 15% of the men that are actually attractive, all of us think are attractive. So that person has, to pick, this wide net. They could pick whoever they want. And that means that we're dating the same little small group of people.
Oh, I love this fact that she said that. Okay, I love that. See, that's what I need black women to come to the table with, because that is where the pain comes from. You want to know where the pain comes from? That's where the pain comes from. Because so many black men are basically saying, I want a woman. I want a wife. I want somebody in my life. I'm lonely. And 85% of black men are going through that. 85%. We used to talk about it in CSC that according to most of the stuff that you find, we just rounded off to 80%. But 80% of men are basically saying, I'm lonely, that these women don't want me. Why? And then you have black women that are coming up saying, ain't no black man. Ain't no black man. Where the black man? Where the black man? You see, the two concepts don't work together. And then there's the whole concept that comes right after that about the expectations. And see, I would agree with the expectation thing if it wasn't 80% of women that generally do this. And if it was just maybe 40%, I could kind of see the whole expectation thing. But we all know that women, like to level up. I'm not even gonna lie about it. There's a little bit of hypergamous nature in every woman, right? A lot of women have learned to control it. A lot of women have controlled it through their jobs and different things like that. But there is a little bit of hypergamy in there. And ladies, don't be mad about that. Don't be upset about that. That's just how you all are. And I try to tell guys all the time, stop worrying about women being a little bit hypergamous. That's just how they are. But there is an issue where you're basically saying that all of these men are unworthy. And when we start talking about the pain and the pain towards black women, and it's not just towards black women, because there's a lot of white men that are saying the same things about white women. And that's why you get so many people talking about being passport bros. And passport bros ain't just black men. These are also white men too. And white men have actually been doing it for years. If you look at, I don't care how you feel about Donald Trump. We're not here to argue over Donald Trump. But if you look at Donald Trump, who did he marry? Did he marry an American? It has always been something where rich, powerful men have gone overseas to find a wife. That's been around for a long time. That's not just started. It's just that it's just starting for black men, because just in the last 20 years or really 30 years, black men have had the power in order to do so, right? And have had enough rights and laws that agree with them so that they could do so. Because what men in general want has never changed. Men have always kind of wanted the same thing. And when you are in a society where only, according to her words, a woman, so if you're a woman watching this, there was another woman saying this, that according to women, according to statistics, 80% of these women are chasing 20% of these men, or 15% of these men. That is where the pain comes from. And then the men just give up, after a certain amount of time. I mean, there's a logic to that. If you keep hitting your head up against the wall, you kind of get stupid to keep hitting your head. You start to say, well, there's got to be something different. So they do something different. And then you have to realize the American dollar in some countries multiplies. So you can go to places where $1 turns into $4 or $5 or $10. So a guy in America making $50,000 a year is the equivalent of $200,000 in another country.
And so I understand that people have, a preference, but to just say shut up, I hate you, I really have my passport. It's like, so anyhow, I think the black women do value black men because we won't date outside our race, are not as quick to date outside the race. And I don't speak from experience.
It might show up for you guys just, the day before. But I just did a video talking about, black women and whether or not, because some of them talk about dating outside the race. And I also want to be real. Again, I like to be balanced. A lot of black women simply can't date outside their race. The other races don't see them as attractive. Now, this is not saying all. Okay, this is not saying all. Again, I try to be balanced. I think all women are beautiful. Again, like I said, it's just your desire to be beautiful every day. But I will say that many black women, even if they do become the 8s and 9s and 10s of what black men consider, they might not necessarily be able to jump races, because there's a lot of stigma depending upon what race you're dealing with. For instance, there was a lady that I was watching, and she was Korean, and she married a black, soldier. And she liked him. She thought he was sexy and fine. And, that was kind of her dream. But as soon as the babies were born, her parents refused to see the babies. They refused to pick them up. They refused to talk to them. And this is a black man experiencing this. And in those cultures, they value like lighter skin. You still even see in the Korean culture that a lot of them, even though they're kind of light, many of them will even whiten their skin. So you're talking about bringing in children that are going to be darker in this culture that is not really comfortable with that. So you got to look at all the factors of this. It's not just one thing or another thing. You got to kind of look at it all.
Went on literally one date in my life with a white man, and I just felt like I was constantly explaining myself. Like, I love Love Jones and Boomerang. And this is so shallow, and I know y'all gonna be like, girl. And I was trying to explain my favorite movies where somebody else, they know the lines. They know the lines, like this instant compatibility on these lines. Love should have brought you home last night, mentioning Color Purple. He was laughing too hard on the Dave Chappelle episode. I'm like, that wasn't that funny. That's kind of racist. And so that was my thing. I was like, I can't do this. But there's plenty of reasons why you probably should date outside your race. I just haven't done that, and I know a lot of black women just don't date outside the race. But I'm starting to see it's not necessarily because we value black men. I do value black men, but maybe that's not enough of a reason. Because if you value black men, you have a bad attitude towards black men, and you probably would be trying to stay fit.
One of the things too is when we talk about bad attitude is a lot of people have really just never been taught how to talk to people. There is a degree where we have to say that. Like for me, I have gone through something in my life where, there were people older than me. I'll just say that, in my parents, aunts, uncles region, grandparents in that region, people above me that did a lot of yelling and screaming. That's just what they did. They did a lot of yelling and screaming. And when I got married the first time, because like I said, I'm divorced now, but when I got married before, I recognized that my ex's parents, they did not do that. They were actually, even when they were mad at each other, you would never hear them. They never yelled and screamed in the house. And I wanted to be more like that. So I put it upon myself to try to remove the behavior. Now, I'll be honest, the behavior is still in me, but it takes a lot of control to actually control that behavior. And see, sometimes when we get in the whole concept of yelling and screaming, it has nothing to do with black people. It has just something to do with your upbringing or kind of what you've been through. And you kind of have to learn to control it. So if you're a person that's a yeller and screamer type of person, then you have to learn to control it. I have some neighbors that I had maybe a couple of years ago, and they yelled and screamed all the time, and they were not black. I think they were from like Greece or something. And they did a lot of yelling and screaming. But I don't think that all Greek people do yelling and screaming. I just think that that particular group did. And it is what it is. So we can't really say that it's all one group of people because it's more about your own self-control and what you think is right. If you think raising your voice gives you more power in a conversation, then you're going to continue to do that. And if you think what you say and the value of what you say and the value of what you do has more weight, you're going to do that.
To, just to be live a healthy lifestyle, I don't know. I can't figure it out, guys, but please explain to me this hatred. Why black men don't like black women just collectively. Like, I don't even want to deal with a black woman. Please be mindful. I am a black woman. When you leave your comment, I just want to know. Like, is there any improvements that can be done? I am raising a daughter. She has a black mom, a black father. So, we do have another generation coming up. Maybe we are lost cause here in our 40s. But is there any constructive criticism? Is there anything that can be done? Like, what are we doing wrong? What are you doing wrong? Are you choosing the wrong woman? Because there's so many great black women out here. I'm one of them. Love to hear your comments. Drop them right here.
So I liked a lot of what she had to say. I mean, she actually went through some really great points. And, like I said, we talked about them. What I would encourage black women to teach their daughters is to teach your daughter that you can lean on a man. Teach them the fact that, yes, you can go out here and get this money. Yes, you can have a wonderful career. But do not teach them to be independent. Instead, teach them that, yes, you can lean on your husband. That's what your husband's for. Your husband's for you to lean on, to take on some of this weight. Don't do it by yourself, girl. Find you somebody you can lean on. That is what you teach them. Teach them that there's lots of great men out here. Teach them to be humble. Teach them to be sweet, to be kind. Teach them to be, like I say, loving, just get in that heart posture, focus in on that heart center, teach them that it's okay to cry. Teach them that they don't have to be a millionaire. Teach them that they don't have to be like the people in rap videos or hip hop videos or what is sung about in these songs. Teach them those things. And as far as, black women, again, most black men marry black women. So again, I think it's harder when you're on the internet and when you're in certain spaces because you're getting attacked in a different way. Is one of the things I talk about with pastors, where a lot of pastors, they tend to lean towards the woman when it comes to singleness, and they'll get in front of their congregation and then they'll say, you single ladies, you don't blah, 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 and God's gonna bless you, and it's these men that are evil. But really it's just because those are the women that he's around. And so he's thinking, oh, well, there's all these really sweet women, but why aren't they getting married? But he's never sat and really gone into depth as to, number one, what's going on with the men. And then number two, why aren't these single women talking to those men? Because it's very quick sometimes, just when you put people in a room and you let everybody say their side of it, it's very quick. And even she talked about it, where a lot of black women, there'll be a really great dude right next to them. And they'll be like, I don't want him. I don't want to talk to him. And that's why I tell black women a lot of times, your man, 9 times out of 10, especially if God has sent him, more than likely you put him in the friend zone. You have put the man that God wants for you in the friend zone. Because when he came, he was such a nice guy. He took care of everything. And you're like, there's just no spark here. There's no adventure. I just don't know why he did me like this. He was just too nice. He brought flowers on the first date. He paid for everything. There was no stress. He's like a good friend. He's like my brother. All up here. All up here. And how many women have a guy in the friend zone? How many women have somebody that they know in the church that is within 5 to 7 years of their age, but they bypass them week after week after week? How many of these men exist? I see these men all the time. Single men out there trying to find somebody, and single women passing them up over and over and over again. So anyway, please like, subscribe, and I'm going to see you all in the next video.